something new where we can um, all of a sudden have an event and then stream to other social medias. Anyway, I just want to tell you that if you're joining us live, could you please let us know that where you're from? As you know, I'm from Mexico, and we'll find out where my guest is from. Um, Usually, I let you know where how I met my guest. We actually met because we have a mutual mentor, Maya Kumarota, and we met on one of Maya's great events. And what we certainly have in common is entrepreneurship. We also love, both of us love to listen to the inner voice within us because we have a strong belief that intuition can guide us so much better than our rational head. I always think of Tony when I say that because Tony says if you're in your head, you're dead. Anyway, we'll go back to that. There are other world class mentors that my guest and I have in common. Tony Robbins, to mention, and then, of course, Maya Comerota. So I want you to meet my guest, Jessica Lapsia. Jessica, how are you, Jessica? Jessica is going to be with us right now. How are you, sweetie?
Hi, Lucy. I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine. Could you tell us where you're coming in from?
Yeah, I'm here actually in Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Oh my God. Now, were you born there?
I was not. We moved here 2016, summer of
20,
2016.
2016. Now you say we, your family, your husband, your children. Well, who's the we we're talking about?
That's right. My husband and my kids. We moved here.
Okay. So let me ask you. So I know that you wear several hats. You're definitely a mother, you're definitely a wife. How many children do you have?
I have two kids, now 6 and 8.
6 and 8. Wow. And 6 and 8, 2 children. I mean, these are children that need mama home, and yet mama's doing a whole bunch of wonderful, awesome stuff. Now, Jessica, I know you had a long-standing corporate career in finance with really global giants like Merrill Lynch, you mentioned, and Kraft Heinz. Now, why did you want to trade all that for being a spiritual entrepreneur, speaker, mentor? What? I mean, you gave it all up. Why? I mean, what what was what were you thinking?
So I wasn't thinking. I was following my heart.
Ah, good, very good.
Yeah. So I think it happened, many years ago. Actually, at this point, as you mentioned, on the corporate path. I was working with C-suite. My background is finance, so I was on that side of things. But I think when I had my second one, who I mentioned is 6 now, but when I was pregnant with her, I think I was struck by inspiration that I wanted to, because with my first one, I really felt I couldn't really give it my all when
Mhm.
it came to my career or being a mother. I
Right.
kind of find myself split in two places all the time. I'm just the kind of person who loves to be all in on whatever they do, and I think the structure that I was in did not support that, or and I think slowly realized it wasn't for me. I kind of felt my creativity was stifled in where I was, and it was great. I learned a lot of great things from my career, the experience, and all of that, and definitely it leveraged a gift that I have, which was in terms of finance, something I was good at, just not something that I consider my zone of genius,
Right.
which we talk very often in these circles. So really, when I being on that journey, trying to really balance work and giving it all, and having my first child, being a mother for the first time ever, I had a defining moment where I realized that maybe I need to do it different. And maybe this is not really what I'm meant to do, or this is not my path
Mhm.
in life. An opportunity presented itself. We moved cities, and I think that really gave me an opportunity to clean the slate, think fresh, and
Right.
literally, like, while we were moving in a month or two, I realized I was expecting another baby. So it was God sent. And it was like, all right, you really got to do this different. You don't want to repeat what you've done, with your first one, or I definitely felt the calling to have more time for them, and I think it's as simple as that. I felt the calling to have more time for them, to really be more present. And with my daughter, who's my second one, I was just inspired to go on the entrepreneurial path. And I didn't start here as a spiritual mentor. Actually, the first thing that came to me was a brick and mortar boutique, which I
Right.
established, and you know worked, really put in all my heart and soul into it for the years that I put it together. Got it to a place where it was multi six figures.
Wow.
Um, and again, I found myself repeating some of my patterns.
Mm.
so, so again, trying to be all in on this. And
Yeah. Tony says, recognize those patterns. Yeah.
yeah. So I think the pandemic really helped me take a pause and a deeper look as to how to shift things in a way that could be, meaningful for me and my family. And
Right.
so, although I was really passionate about it, I loved, styling clients and their unique expression. It just brought me alive seeing them walk out of the door with several bags, feeling like a
Yeah.
million bucks. It was something else. But I think I wanted to find something that I was not only passionate about, but something that was on purpose for me, that
Hmm.
felt on purpose. And then that's how I was drawn to spirituality and being in the present moment and all of those things. And really, eventually, I was called to teach it. So that's the journey.
Wonderful. The pandemic was, sad in so many ways, but in so many other ways, it helped us pause, right? Pause our lives, so,
Absolutely.
and give us time to think about really, maybe we're not doing what we came here to do. So, being in search of that deeper purpose. Oh, do you have any idea what was that purpose that you felt was, we sometimes we feel there is a purpose and I feel so strongly about. Did you know what that purpose was?
No, it became evident in motion. What I knew for sure when I made that decision to exit from my first venture,
Yeah,
which was, is that this was not it. This is not how I was meant to live. And honestly, I didn't even know how to get myself out of that,
right.
because I was so deep in, I didn't know what I needed to shift or change, or at that point it was a black hole. But the ray of light was that I wanted to learn, what could I do different to not find myself in this
Yeah.
space.
Is that when you got to self-development and whatnot,
Yes.
would
So
you
I
say? I mean,
actually, yeah, I was automatically driven. I was really just, to begin with, it was not about personal development for me. It was just naturally, I gravitated to spirituality.
okay.
So my first mentor was Jay Shetty.
Oh, I love Jay Shetty. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I just reading all the texts, because I really found myself at a place where I had a lot of existential questions
Right.
that I was dealing with. And so hence my answers really came from spirituality. Of course, spirituality is also about personal growth, but for
Right.
me it's been more on that side, because I think I had created in my life, um, everything that I needed to survive materially.
Right. Obviously, yes.
But
Mhm.
what I was missing was this feeling of wholeness, this feeling of
Right.
being at one with who I was, if that makes sense, and really moving
Yeah,
in
it
that.
does.
So yeah, so for me it was really spirituality. I think I've worked with, um, you know, co- uh, with mentors, coaches from different spiritual, like, from different spiritual realms. Like Maya Kumaroda is another one we
Mhm.
connect with. And as we know, she's also very much an intuitive and a spiritual guide. And I think
Right.
that's where my learnings and my journey has really been in terms of growth.
right. What would you consider now your soul gift? If you were to, what would you consider that to be right now after, all this investigation?
So I think there's many, right? I think we all have many. There isn't just
Okay.
one, right? And I think one that I have deeply feel like I realized when I worked on it, it keeps evolving through life, right? There's so much, we are
Yeah.
so much more than we know at any point, right? So it's always uncovering itself is what I believe. One that I am bringing into the world right now, which I feel very much, is bloomed to be able to share,
Mhm.
is intuition, and I think that has been the key for my, like, from me, like, shifting from a corporate career to the entrepreneurial journey,
Mhm.
from the from my first venture to now doing this. The common factor, the common thread has been intuition. I just was like I mentioned, I was from the finance background, and I've done
Right,
that 15 some years, whatever. So my logical brain was very dominant.
right.
Rationale, logical brain was very dominant. And this, I think intuition really, I got connected with it through my kids, through becoming a mother. You
Very interesting.
Yeah, so through becoming a mother, and that's where I started to realize those nudges and things, and that has been a whole new journey for me, uh,
Right.
that I've been on. And yeah, interestingly, I named my son Aaron, which means the enlightened one, and I think I invited that energy in with that. So,
That is so cool. That's so cool. You're so right because mothers, if there's anything, mothers have to be in the present moment with children all the time. You know, it's all about being present. Oh my God. What comes to me is where does one get the courage to take that leap of faith and go for a life that one truly desires or really deserves? I mean, it takes one hell of a, excuse my French, a leap of faith to be able to do that. I mean, where did you get that courage? Is it the discontent you felt?
yes, definitely. I think it's, you have to be at a point in your life where you feel like
Enough is enough. Yeah.
it is enough, and you're on your knees. You kind of have this moment of like, how did I get here? Like,
Right.
how did
Right.
this
Right.
happen? Like, because you're in your head, you're thinking, oh, you're just exactly on the right path, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
you're
Right.
rational or whatever, and then you get there, and it's like, it doesn't feel anything like I thought I would. It would at this point, you know. Um, and yeah, so definitely this sense of like complete emptiness, the sense of
Yeah.
frustration, the build that's there with it. And I think also for me is like just being in a complete state of confusion as to how am I here, right? And I think trying to want to learn, and I think that's the, when we turn that into curiosity, to like try to figure this out and like shift from that. Uh, and then going into, okay, this is not what I wanted. Enough is enough moment, right? This is not what I want.
Mhm.
Uh, so what do I want?
Well, yeah.
What
Yeah.
do I
It forces you to ask the right question. What is it that I would love to do actually?
Yeah.
You know, oh my God. So it's so interesting. So were there specific, during your search for a deeper purpose, because it does sound that you went through a certain moments. Were there specific moments of clarity, um, or realizations that guided you toward the path of the spiritual entrepreneurship and mentoring? Were there, I mean, I'm a firm believer that when a student's ready, the teacher shows up.
Absolutely. Oh my God, this couldn't be more true in my case. I literally, I just told you, my first mentor was Jesse, and
Yeah.
I literally had just um, closed my, first venture, the business that I had, and the next month I had a friend post on Facebook like a little shop that he was holding, and this one I'm not even in connection with. This friend I hadn't talked for years, uh, but I watched like this little 1 minute video that was on the feed, and it's like, oh my gosh, this speaks to me. I need to go to this thing, right? And I had no idea who he was, or kind of like this is years ago, but even back then he was well known, right? Like he was had a following of these, and but I had no idea. I'd never heard of him. I'd never heard of him. I had no idea who he was. He magically appeared. I went to the workshop. And I was like, oh my god,
I know.
and I was like, this is everything I need. I want, and that started my journey. And yeah, so then there were many moments. I said, for me, it really started with my kids. Many with my kids, really. And I, probably I go into a lot of depth there, but I resonate with the teacher piece. But where this content really started from me was with my, with how I was showing up as a mother.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, discovering this gift of yours, how does it manifest itself in your coaching and your mentoring practices at this point?
I think it's exactly what is needed. So in terms of how does it show up is I believe in like a life experience even more than what we just read or and something you can connect with on that level in terms of the life experience. You have a transformation that is it's more than just like here. You're part of the person, right? Connecting at a level. And when you connect at that level through a life experience, you start automatically feel the transformation, and we feel into it happen. So
Right.
definitely was the case with anyone I've worked with, being able to connect at that level on like yes, how would you lead with story, lead with story, and
Right. So stories are so powerful. I don't know if you just heard those fireworks in the background, but I'm actually celebrating. I think somebody was celebrating you as you were talking. Those